My name's Jason, and welcome back to I Have a Story. I haven't been able to get out here and get my videos done the past few days. Because the man that I love, my best friend and the man who was a father to me, was killed. It didn't need to happen. Well, I can't talk about the case right now, obviously. And through this video, I can't talk about names. So I'm just going to call him my father because he was like my dad that I never had. He was a father and a grandfather to a lot of people. Oh, God, this is hard. I don't normally edit my videos, and if I say something I shouldn't, I'm going to edit it out because this is a very delicate situation. My previous videos, I made mistakes, and so I'm not editing those out. It's part of me doing this channel because I need to learn to be a better speaker in emotion. And I'm not editing those out because I want you to see those, and I want you to point them out to me if I miss them, and I want to make changes myself to be a better person. But what I am here to talk about is what followed that case. I can't even believe it. That man was such a great man. The whole community, he was one of the most loved and cherished people of this community. And anybody will tell you, he sees you standing in 20 below weather, he would take the clothes off his back and give them to you and freeze himself before he watches you freeze. That's the man he was. That's why I loved him so much. He was a one of a kind. There aren't many people like him out in this world anymore. And I'm going to miss him so much. What I'm here to talk about is what happened afterwards. I can't even believe it. His elderly sister lived with him. She has bone cancer. She's in very poor health. She was asked to leave so that forensics could do their job. She went to one of our friends' houses. This man meant just as much to that family as he does to me. So one of our neighbors stopped by to let us know that they were pulling out and she could go back. She sat and cried. We all did. Then it was time to finally go home. So she gets in my car and I go to take her home. We pull in the driveway. I said, "Whose truck is that?" "I don't know." Just then, murder suspect's husband comes walking out of the house, out of the front door. First thing I did was send my buddy a message. "I don't know what's going on here, but he's here and he shouldn't be. Come help." He was there in like 30 seconds. That's what we do for each other. We take care of each other here. Called 911 and called the police. So this man isn't supposed to be here. He's in here ransacking a house. The house that was the scene his wife murdered her father in. Cops showed up and didn't care. How can you let this suspect's husband ransack the house? He cut the crime scene tape. Police line, do not enter. Here's the picture. And he entered. We got to the house about between 3 and 4 o'clock. It wasn't until 8:30 that he left. He ransacked that house. He told the cops, "I'm here to help. I'm the owner of this house." He wasn't the owner of that house. My father paid cash for that house and put it in his daughter's name so that if anything happened to him, the state couldn't take it and the proceeds went to his grandkids and his daughter. The man who claims that is his house wouldn't even have a roof over his head if it wasn't for my father. My father gave him the $15,000 down payment to put on his house to buy his house. Now this man is coming through and just taking over. My father despised this man. Our whole community does. They live in fear of this man. My father took over there every week. 4 gallons of milk, 4 loaves of bread, and snacks to feed his grandkids. He started telling me he was scared to go over there by himself because every time he does, this guy comes out strapped with an AR around his shoulder. I didn't believe it. Nobody can be that crazy. So he asked me to go with him, and I did. And the very first time we walk in, man standing in the kitchen. What's he do? He goes straight to somewhere in the house. I don't know where he went. And comes back out with a pistol in his belt and an AR holding it like he's Rambo. And he was like that the whole entire time we were there. And every other time I took my dad over to take his grandkids food. He's a 73-year-old man. What are you scared of? Not that he was scared. He's a fucking meth head. He's a dope addict. So was his wife. So the cops, who cares? We're not getting involved, is what they said. This is a civil matter. I asked the officer, I said, sir, did you guys remove the rest of the guns from that house this morning when you did your investigation? He said, I don't know. Not even going to look into it. I told him guns are a pretty important thing, right? I wanted the cops to remove all of them guns. They should not be left in that house. For everybody's safety. Everybody's, especially that elderly woman who just lost her brother. So they just left. State police, sheriff's department. Who cares if the suspect's husband, a man who's not supposed to be here, enters the property, even beat the woman who does live there home and beat her so that he could ransack that house. And the cop said, deal with it. Those weren't their exact words, but that's what it came down to. Deal with it. We're not. That's part of 2019, this whole entire story. Oh my God. This shows exactly why in 2019 I came up with the idea to create this channel. I was seeing a counselor, and after I told him my life story, he looked at me and said, you make Forrest Gump look like a sideshow. And the things I've done and the way I've been able to take it and do good with that instead of bad, he recommended I do this. I've helped a lot of people, children. I'm here to fight for the rights of the man who passed away and what he wanted. I know what he wanted because I spent every single day of my life with that man. Here, we don't lock our doors. Every morning, there was a coffee cup sitting right in front of the coffee pot waiting for him to show up. Every single morning, I got my coffee cup out, made my cup, and I put a cup in front of the coffee pot every morning because I knew he would be there. He took care of me just as much as I took care of him. God, I'm gonna miss you. But what followed was, I can't even believe it. They let the suspect's husband come into that house and ransack it. Not only that, harass this elderly woman until 8:30 at night. Looking for drugs and pain pills. Where's his bank account records? Do you have access to his bank account? Does he have any money in there? He had no right to do that. His wife just killed her brother, my best friend. Why was he allowed to do that? So he took all the guns that were in that house on top of everything. Those weren't his. He had no right to take them. I'm here to stand up and fight for the wishes that he had left. He despised that man. He's scared of that man. Our community is scared of that man. Everybody knows this. And this is part of my problem. I live in a small town and we only have a few bad seeds and everybody knows it. These people are constantly in trouble. And you just slap them on the hand. Let them go out and ruin your life. We don't care. He told the police he was there to do good. This is my house. It wasn't his house. It was not his house. And it can be provable. I mean, there's got to be bank records. Would it? My dad paid cash for his house, and he gave his daughter, $15,000 for the down payment for theirs. That man wouldn't even have a roof over his head if it wasn't. But no, this guy's taking over and just ransacking everything. Stole the man's tools, his personal financial, and all of his personal documentation. 2 boxes full. This man's armed. I'm not allowed to have a gun to protect myself because of an illegal court system who illegally took away my rights, and I'm here to fight for that too. What they did to me was illegal and empowered a mentally ill, abusive woman in charge of my children, which is why I came out and started doing this. So I'm here to fight for my kids, but now I got to fight for a man who's gone. So when I call and report this man stole the guns, they said they don't care. I told them that man ransacked that guy's house. We don't care. It's a civil matter. No, stealing guns is a federal felony matter, especially by a man who's a dopehead and it got minor children under his roof. To tell you how messed up this guy is, do you take your 15-year-old son and say, hey, let's go clean up Grandpa's remains that your mom just committed? He had his 15-year-old son there to help him clean it up. Told the cops, I'm here to do good. I just want to clean up and do good for her. He left the carpet and padding on her front porch. He stole the guns, stole the tools, stole personal documents. God only knows what he took. I mean, he spent 5 hours in that man's bedroom ransacking it. Cut the police line tape that says, do not enter. And it was allowed. This man walked around. My wife doesn't deserve this. I'm going to fight for her and get her out. But that's the guy who should be sitting there ransacking a murder scene that his wife committed. I'm going to play the recording. When I called the state trooper's office, after the state troopers wouldn't do nothing, I asked to speak to a supervisor. This is the call. And one of the things I want you to listen to right in the very beginning of this, and I planned on already making a video specifically about this. Just right off the bat, answering the phone, the supervisor just didn't even care. I mean, right off the bat, saying hello wasn't respectful. When you're in these positions, you respect people when they call you. So you listen to how this phone call started just with her alone. And I have to edit this in. I'm going to leave out the department's name, but I want you to hear the call. Stop and dial 911. Our office hours are Monday to 1. Thank you.
Hi, is there somebody I could talk to about a situation that took place yesterday?
Okay, this is the dispatch center. You can tell me and I can pass it on to an officer. Unfortunately, I can't just transfer you over to an officer. We don't have that ability here.
Okay, is there any other faculty or staff or supervisor I could talk to?
You can speak to my supervisor here at the dispatch center if you'd like.
Sure, I could start there. I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, let me just put you on hold.
Thank you.
Thanks for holding. This is Kylie. How may I help you?
Hi, Kylie. How you doing?
Good. How can I help you?
I had an incident take place yesterday that I can't even say that I don't think it was handled. It couldn't have been handled properly. Night before last, my best friend and man who was like my father was murdered. Yesterday morning, he's an elderly man. His sister lives with him, and she's elderly. She's got bone cancer, and she's pretty much on her last leg. The forensics team asked her to leave for a few hours while they investigated. So we went over to a friend's house, and we sat there until they were done. I don't know exactly what time they got done, but it was roughly 3 o'clock-ish yesterday, 2:30, 3 o'clock-ish. We went back to the house, and the murder suspect's husband was inside the house ransacking the house. Now, I called 911. State troopers came out, the sheriff's department came out, and they wouldn't do anything about it and said they weren't getting involved. Now, that man stole, and I even asked the officers this. I said, what about the guns that are still in that house? It's a civil matter. We don't care. That man last night, the murder victim's husband, or murder suspect's husband, stole all of that man's guns, all 5 of them that were in that house. He also stole all his tools, his money, and ransacked. He was there till 8:30 last night ransacking the house. So I want to know why he was allowed in that house when that is not his residence, and why he was allowed to steal property, including 5 firearms.
Okay, you would have to take that up with the department post.
Well, now we've got a severely mental ill man out there who's now in possession of illegal firearms. We got to wait a whole weekend and 4 days to get anything done about this?
Okay. The officers were there. You advised them of the situation. They told you that they were not getting involved in it. I do not know what their reasoning was. I'm a dispatcher. The officers were informed of it, as you advised on the recorded line, and that was the determination that they made.
But I don't get that though, because a man who is not, that's not his residence. Why was he allowed to just go in that house with nobody there, no permission, and just steal?
There may be information that you are not aware of as well, because I know of information, but I am not allowed to disclose it to you of what their reasoning was. We're not allowed to disclose that. So you can take it up with their supervisor as to why it was handled the way it was.
Okay, well, I appreciate your help, but that just, I mean, I don't understand how you can just walk into somebody's house and steal firearms.
Again, sir.
That's a federal felony offense.
Sir, I'm sure you do not know the whole story as well. So
I probably know more than you guys do, honestly. I've been I spend every single day, night to day, sunrise to sunset with that man. Every single day of the week. I know more about their life and their story and their situation than you guys know about.
Legal aspect-wise, on things that are legally documented, there is stuff that they have to go by, and that is what they're following. So if you don't like how they handled it, you can take it up with their supervisor.
Okay, well, I appreciate your help. Thank you.
Yep, bye-bye.
Bye.
I reported stolen guns. I was told, talk to the supervisor on Tuesday. It's a holiday weekend. I told her this is a mentally ill man who stole firearms. What happens between now and Tuesday? Tuesday, are you guys going to do anything about it? Not only did this man bring his 15-year-old son to the house to help him clean up that, you don't bring a child into that, especially when your mom was involved. They have a baby that's 7, 8 months old. Nobody even knew that that baby was locked in a pickup truck in the driveway in the sun with the windows rolled up for hours. I'm talking 4 or 5 hours that I was even there for before I ever even knew that baby was in the truck. Because he wasn't taking care of it. Nobody changed his diaper. Nobody fed that baby. Nobody even checked on that baby. Nobody even knew that baby was there. And you know what that man said right in front of his 15-year-old son and that baby when I heard screaming and said, there's a baby out here in the truck. Somebody want to do something about this? I mean, this had been about 7:30 at night but that baby had sat in that truck since before I even got there. Maybe if the police would have done their job and even walked over and looked in the truck to see if what he was stealing, they would have seen there was a baby in that truck. But you know what he said to me? And he said this right in front of his kids. I'm a soldier. I kill people. I don't take care of children. But now he's in charge of those 5 children. From 15 years old all the way down to 7 or 8 months, less than a year old infant. Nobody changed that kid's diaper. Nobody fed that kid. Nobody even knew that kid was in that truck. But he's the one in charge of everything now, right? It was reported last summer him and his dad were sitting dining room table playing with guns, drunk. What's his dad do? I'm going to test to see if this firearm's loaded. So what do you do when you're drunk and test inside of a house with 4 children and a baby? I mean, obviously he didn't have enough common sense to not do this, let alone know if there were kids anywhere present. He picks up the gun, points it at a window, and pulls the trigger and blew out the window. Oh, guess it's loaded. That was reported. Nobody did anything about it. I'm tired of these people doing nothing, and these children are suffering. People are dying. And it's their job. That's the whole reason this case right here shows exactly why I'm making this channel. Because it's wrong. Cops had plenty of chances over the past 3 weeks alone leading up to this to take her in, and they did nothing. And I blame myself just as much as them because I know more about this whole entire case than anybody. That woman's calling me up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm running from the cops. Come get me. No, let me take your car. No, what? I'm not getting involved. I know what that man's wishes were. He wanted that house to go to his grandkids. I know. I spent every day with him and he talked about it. Nobody could foresee anything like this happening. I do have some guilt myself, but it's part of why I'm making this channel, so that you don't make the same mistakes I have. To help you get through experiences like this, because I've been through, you can line up people a mile long and combine those people who never experienced what I have in my life. So I'm doing this to help everybody and trying to make changes, because this is blatantly wrong. There was a day this used to be common sense. Now we live in a world there is no common sense anymore. I don't get it. This man claimed to be there doing so good. I'm here to help. He had no business or right being there. He even said, I own this house and I rent it to them. No, you didn't. He bought that house and put it in his daughter's name so she could get the proceeds if anything happened to him. His grandkids and his daughter would be taken care of. Now this dope fiend is going to profit off all this? No, I'm here to stand up and fight. It's got to be provable what happened. It is provable. I mean, God, money is trackable. I want that house to go to his kids. I have nothing to gain from doing this other than my heart and doing what I know that man wanted. I want his grandkids to get what they deserve and what he wanted to give them. Not a dope fiend who's going to go blow all the money on dope with children on his house and now armed to the gills. The guy already had an insane arsenal to begin with. Just a few months ago, they had their land timbered. They got $15,000, $18,000 roughly. In 3 months, that money was gone. They blew it all on dope and guns, and I mean, Jesus. And 3 months later, they're hitting him up for money again. I was trying to put up boundaries between him and them because I saw what was going on. But how do you do that to a man you love and a man who loved his grandkids and his daughter and was trying to do good to them? So please, you tell me if you think this is right. Should a murder suspect's husband be allowed to ransack a house? Before he left that night, he went through the living room, dumping boxes on the living room floor, asking her and I, did you guys see where she stashed the dope? I know she stashes her stuff all over the place. She's got to have stuff stashed here. He's dumping out, they have glasses of pens and glasses of candy, and he's dumping them on the floor looking for the dope. But he was there to do so good. He didn't even clean that up. He just dumped those boxes and glasses and everything on the floor and left it. I cleaned it up. But he's there to do so good, right? No, he was a dope fiend looking for dope, harassing an elderly woman whose brother just died, and she watched it. And he was allowed to do that. I watched it, and it's wrong. I don't get it. How can we live like this? I'm tired of living in fear. I'm tired of my community living in fear. Where I live, this is a most beautiful, wonderful place I've ever lived. We only have a handful of bad seeds, and everybody knows who they are. Yet they keep committing the same crimes, even violent crimes. Not too long ago, a man who has a long career history went and beat up his minor nephew, who has, we'll just say he's a little slow. I'll leave it at that. They slapped him on his hand, turned him loose again. Why? Why do we keep doing this? I can tell you firsthand from having somebody who is a relative extremely close to me, who has a lifelong history of just doing severe harm to people, and he just keeps getting turned loose. And as much as I love that man, because he's my own brother, I've watched it happen firsthand over and over for years, decades. And while he's my brother and it would hurt, if something happened to him tomorrow, I could say I would understand, because that was the life he chose. I don't just coddle what is mine. I see the way things are. If your own kids are committing these crimes on these drugs, you can't just look away. You can't pretend it doesn't happen. And there's systems out there that you can sit here, and I've done in-home drug rehabilitation because I've had my friends' parents call me and say, my kids are messing up. We don't have anybody else to turn to. And I had to step up and do what our system is supposed to be doing. That's why I created this channel, because I'm tired of it all. I'm tired of living in fear. I'm tired of my communities living in fear because nobody's doing anything about it. I want to help the people who are struggling in these situations to get through these situations, because I've been through enough of them myself, and I've been able, well, I've drank, I've done drugs. I'll be sharing these stories with you over time, because I got so lost in just the nonsense. I didn't know what to do. My my head just spun so hard in so many of these situations that were just terribly wrong and didn't need to be. I'm here to make a change. I'm here to fight against this. Common sense is not common even in our legal system anymore. Why? Why do these kids have to suffer? Families have to suffer? It's wrong. So I'm here to try to make a change, because I've had enough of this. Can you please tell me, do you think it's right that a murder suspect's husband, claiming he wants to set her free and she doesn't deserve this? He didn't deserve this. You tell me if you think that's right. You listen to this phone call I played for you, and you tell me if you think that was right. Is that the way it should be handled? Somebody's reporting stolen guns? The murder suspect's husband, of all people? He had no right, no entitlement, nothing. My father despised that man, despised him. We were picking out a plot on his land to put a home for his daughter and grandkids to move in to get away from this guy. And honestly, I will not coddle what is just mine. She was just as bad as he was, obviously. I've been telling the police that she's just as bad. I can't get involved. I can't say too much because I don't want her coming back at me. Because her father loved her. He was trying to help her. And I didn't want to hurt him. Was that right or wrong of me? I'm feeling very wrong right now. Not that I expected the system to do anything to begin with, because look at what just happened. They didn't do nothing. So I'm hoping as people we can stand together again. Remember the saying, divided we stand, or united we stand, God. Let's unite. We're the people. Put an end to this. I'll be talking and letting the rest of the story out once this case is over. You listen to that woman tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. I am the number one person who knows this story better than anybody else. That's why the detective's coming to talk to me this week. I was with that man every single day of my life. He's not going to be here anymore. God, I'm going to miss you. So please tell me if you think this right here, what I'm telling you is right. Should this have been allowed? A murder suspect's husband is allowed to come onto a property, trespass, enter, cut the police tape, ransack that house. I mean, there were already cars, at least one that we know of, loaded and had already left before we even got back to that property. She's the one who lives there. He stole stuff of mine that was there. He had no right to none of it. And part of him taking the files, he was already harassing her and me. Do you know where his pain pills are? He didn't get pain pills, man. Once the state wouldn't allow doctors to prescribe them anymore, they cut him off. Oh, that's lying. You're lying to me. I know he's got pills here. That's none of your business. What are you here to do? Pills. Because you're a dope fiend. Do you guys have his bank account records? Do you have access to his bank account? Do you know how much money he had in there? That's none of your business. That's wrong. He harassed that woman for hours. He was asked to leave multiple times. Do you think we want the husband of the woman who just shot our father to be sitting there harassing us? But the police didn't care. Oh, God. I'm going to show you a picture. He left the bloody carpet and pad on the front porch. He came there to do so good. I'm here to clean up. But he asked me to go get him garbage bags because he didn't even think to bring garbage bags with him. He wasn't there to clean up. He was there to ransack. And he left it sitting right in front of her front door on the porch. These garbage bags I show you in this picture, that's the bloody carpet and padding. He left the bedroom door open that was taped off with crime scenes so everybody could just look at it. I had to go close the door. And I took a picture of what I saw. He was there for hours, and this is all he did was cut out this little piece of carpet. But he was there to help. No, he was there to ransack. He was there to cover up evidence. He was there to remove evidence. He was there to take his personal documentation. And he was empowered to do it again. This has got to stop. Why was he allowed to be there? He said, I have nothing to gain by this. I want his grandkids to get what he wanted to give to those kids. That was his wish. That's why he did what he did, because he was trying to take care of his daughter and his kids, his grandkids. I have nothing to gain. To be totally honest with you, there's only two things I want other than a couple pictures of him to remember him by. He just took me out. One of the things I want from him is a spear. Spearing season started here. I went out and did it for the first time in my life. And I wanted a spear of my own. And he said, Jason, I'm going to take you to town and buy you one. I had to go make the rounds and let his friends know what happened. And one of the people said, because I'm trying to raise the money to pay for his funeral, we're all broke. We live a very simple life here. Trying to raise the money for his funeral, and somebody said, isn't he well off? Wasn't he well off? Didn't he have a lot of money? His life story alone. It's, the system has hurt that man so terrible throughout his life. And I'm here to share those stories, and I will be in the future. Because what the system did to him was wrong. All the way around, even all the way up to the day he passed. When somebody said, wasn't he well off? Well, after what he went through, and he sold the resort his parents owned, which he had to do because the system all the way around took it from him. He took the proceeds and paid cash for his property so that he had a roof over his head. He gave his daughter the down payment to buy her house so she had a roof over her head, and so did his grandkids. He bought his daughter a car. He bought his other daughter a car. He spent the money on the ones he loved, like a good man does. He didn't have anything left over after that. I'm here to fight for his memory, his wishes, what that man wanted, because he deserves that. At the very least, he deserves that. And I'm praying to God that we can do this. I know he wanted those proceeds to go to taking care of his grandkids' future. And that's what this right here I'm trying to do. I want his respects, his wishes to be respected. Not a dope fiend who's going to blow all the money on dope with a house full of guns and children that he's not capable of even admitting capable of taking care of. He shoots people. He kills people. He doesn't take care of babies. That is wrong. You don't say that in front of your kids. You don't say that, period. That mindset alone means those kids don't belong with him. All the things he said that evening, oh my God. I used to be just as bad as her on dope, but I'm not as bad anymore. Are you kidding me? Please help me fight. Stand up against this. This isn't even but common sense. Does the suspect's husband want to save his wife? Should that person be allowed to enter that property that is not his? He even admitted, I rent this to these people, which was a lie. He does not. But even if he did, as a landlord, are you allowed to just show up on your tenant's property, break into their house, especially a crime scene, and remove whatever you want? Steal, take, ransack that house, just dump boxes all over the floor and leave it. Is that what should be allowed? No, it's not. I don't even have to ask you. It's not. But I want to know, do you think so? The cops sure do. And I want to know why. This woman told me I don't know what I'm talking about. We can't tell you. You can't tell me that the guns are okay. You can't tell me you did your job and went and removed them. No, I know you didn't, because I know who has them. He's even told other people, I have them. Mm-mm. This is wrong. I'm asking you to please help me fight. Please, let's stand up against this. These things should not be taking place. We should not be looking after criminals more than we are victims. Especially, you look at that picture of that woman. She's got bone cancer. She's 65 pounds. Soaking wet. I know. I take her to her doctor's appointments. An awful lot of them. They weigh her in at 65 pounds. And now she's living in fear because she's still in that house worried about now he's been empowered to just come back and do whatever he wants. She's worried that now he has those guns, and even though he has guns, multiple guns. I mean, Jesus Christ, this man has. It's unreal. Silencers, I mean, geez, This is a man who needs to be taken care of. The system needs to go in and remove those kids from that house. He needs a psych evaluation. How do you leave a baby, an infant, in a car, in a truck, windows rolled up for hours and never one time, not one time? He went and put stuff in the bed of his truck. I know I stood outside. I didn't go in that house at first for hours. I stood outside because I could not go in that house. But I watched him come out and load up his truck. Never one time did he stick his head in the window. The windows were up. He never even went to the cab and looked in it. I was out there watching. I never even knew that child was in that truck until I heard it crying, screaming at 7:30 at night. I'd already been there for what, 3-4 hours at that point? But he's in charge of children, and we wonder what's wrong with this world. No, no, no. This isn't but common, simple sense. So I'm proposing this law in memory of him. It's simple. It's 2 lines, 5 words. Prosecute criminals and do your job. Doesn't seem like anybody does their job anymore. Give me the easy way out. We've become such a soft society. It's like nobody can face anything anymore. I don't get it. How can they tell me I don't know what I'm talking about when I'm the number one person who knows more to this story than anybody? I was involved in it more than anybody else. The night that it happened, her husband's messaging me in the middle of the night. Over the weeks, she's calling me all hours of the night, 2, 3, 5 in the morning, all doped up. Can you come pick me up and let me take your car? Quit waking me up in the middle of the night, you crackhead. No, you're not taking my car. No, I'm not getting involved in this. I'm not picking you up. I'm running from the cops. Cops are trying to find. No, I'm not getting involved. God help us all.